Alright, so I covered everything that's going to be on me pretty much at all times when I'm on the bike. I wanted to cover my layering strategy as well, or optional items that are based on weather and whatnot. So I prefer, with the MX pants, to generally just bring along rain pants that are over the top, rain pants that fit right over top. In my opinion, for dual sport riding, again, non-highway, I don't really think it's necessary to go out and drop crazy amounts of money on rain pants. Though I will say that bib style with suspenders are a little better because they bring that protection level up a little higher, so that if your jacket doesn't go down far enough, or rain is kind of wicking around your waist because of the wind and stuff, it'll help protect you a little better. These are not ideal, but they do the job at least a little bit. So that's for pants. I'm just throwing stuff on the ground so it's a little easier to get to everything else for now. This is a rain jacket. This one actually comes with that coat. It can go on the outside or the inside. I prefer to wear my raincoats over top of my protection, knowing that if I fall, they'll rip. That's fine. That's a risk I'll take because I prefer to keep the main body of the jacket and such dry. It just makes for a much nicer experience when you take it all off and you're getting into camp or wherever you happen to be. I do like a slightly higher end rain jacket. That said, there is nothing wrong with going onto Amazon and buying a $15 set of Frog Togs. If you're not familiar with the brand, look them up. Literally 15 bucks, you get a top and a bottom. If you're non-highway, you don't need to worry about it catching a lot of wind because you're mostly off-road. You'll get a lot of use out of just a cheap set of rain gear, and it will keep you much drier. And it might not be perfect like an actual, rain suit will that's made for motorcycling. There's a couple of features that do make it a little better, but a set of Frog Togs is a lot better than nothing. And again, remember, we're talking about hypothermia here. If it's 50 degrees outside and raining, you are highly at risk of hypothermia, especially if you're moving fast. It's even worse. This is a warm layer. That's, again, comes with that jacket. You don't have to get a jacket that has the layers all together. You can buy them separately. This could just be a thin fleece or whatever. This one happens to have it, so I bring it because it's convenient and the system all works together. I do bring a second set of gloves, preferably a full waterproof glove. I prefer actual layered systems ideally instead of just an MX glove and then a separate waterproof glove. I prefer having some kind of an inner layer and an outer layer. Those tend to be more along the lines typically of a hiking type glove or a kayaking type glove. And they have less protection for you, especially if you're going to be on the street. Definitely no major padding and protection, but just have a solution. That's really what it comes down to. I'm going to talk about my other clothes that I tend to wear. I do bring a spare jersey, at least one. If the trip's going to be long, many days, say a 7-day type trip, maybe 5 days or whatever, doing a couple, say 1,000 miles plus off pavement, I'm going to bring a few of them. I like to only bring 2 if I can, sometimes 3 at most. It's okay if I stink a little bit. Nobody's near me anyway and I'm riding fast, so don't have to worry about that too much. Now the rest of this is important to understand that I think if you're going to be camping, if you're not just motel hopping, and even if you are, quite frankly, you really want to always have a dedicated set of clothes you can wear that are dry, especially for sleeping in. Very important while camping. You need to be dry. So if you're wet while you're riding, you need to be able to warm up when you get to camp, and you're only going to do that if you're dry. So having a plan for a set of clothes that you put on that are always going to be dry, that you're not just going to ride in the next day, is important, especially on a many-day adventure. So what do I do for that? Simple synthetic shirt. No need to go buy anything expensive. Nike, Under Armour, whatever. You can get them for like 12 bucks at various department stores. I prefer synthetic underwear both for riding and for in camp. So when I'm wearing the MX pants, I'll have synthetic underwear on and maybe just a, flimsy shorts or something, some layer. But I also do the same thing for my dry clothes for the summer and most seasons. I tend to wear smart wool socks. I'm an avid hiker and kayaker, multi-day kayaker, so I have a lot of smart wool type product laying around that I use all the time. They're fantastic in motorcycle boots too. Note that smart wool, even if it gets a little bit wet, still retains a bit more of its R value. Cotton does not. It just doesn't. Cotton will just start wicking all the heat away from your body as soon as it's wet. You ever hear the term cotton kills? It's not a joke. It puts you at higher risk of hypothermia. Avoid it if you can. That's why I prefer synthetics. I do bring a micro fleece. It's just a thin fleece. It's not a real thick, bulky one. Remember, all this stuff's got to fit inside my gear, my luggage on my bike or my backpack. So, I like to keep this stuff light and thin when possible. This is smart wool leggings. Fantastic. Cannot recommend those enough. I try to keep these dry and not ride in them, but quite frankly, if it's going to be 30 degrees one morning, these are going on, then the MX pants and my rain pants if necessary to keep my legs warm. And then I can lose layers as I go throughout the day. If it's midsummer, I don't need these. Might not even bring them if we're talking it's 90 degrees during the day and 70 at night. This doesn't come. The micro fleece doesn't come. I bring a buff. It's excellent on during cold riding times to wear around your neck. Keep that whole area warm. You can wear it as a little mini hat in camp. You can use it as a rag. You use it as a wash rag. This thing's amazing. It's just a tube of stretchy fabric. If you've never seen what a buff is, check them out. Sounds ridiculous, but as you use it, I use them for all my adventure type activities, and I get a whole lot of use out of these things. And this one here is over 10 years old. They last forever. Clothing wise, depending on how many days my trip is, I like to have fresh underwear and socks every day. You can do whatever you want. That's just what I do. I might cut back on a couple pairs. If I'm on a motorcycle or in a kayak, I've got some kind of either horsepower or a river moving me along. The extra weight's not a big deal to me. I might bring in one extra pair of shorts at most. And then shirts, pretty much I only need one for, if I stop at a motel after 3 days camping or something, and I want to throw this on before I go in a restaurant, I can. That way I'm not in my dirty MX jersey or whatever. But socks and underwear I tend to bring enough for my needs. One other clothing item. First thing I do when I get to camp is I want to take my boots off because they've been on all day. I ride for 8 to 10 hours a day, need to get my boots off. Want some comfortable shoes, so I bring tennis shoes. Also, I consider this kind of a safety item. If your bike breaks down halfway through your ride, let's say you're 50 miles in, meaning you probably have 50 miles to go before the next gas stop, and you are in the middle of nowhere, trust me, you don't want to have to walk to the next road in motorcycle boots on a rough trail, a muddy trail, a sandy trail, a rocky trail, even a flat one, or walking down the side of the road in MX boots or even adventure boots sucks to me. Try it sometime. You might find you really don't like it. Bring yourself a pair of shoes. Now, some people will just bring a pair of flip-flops. Those are smaller, lighter weight. Great if that's what you want to bring. Some people will even bring a pair of Crocs, and you can just see their dignity leaking out the holes as they walk along in camp. I don't do that. I bring these. Just some shoes. We'll cover some more of this gear when I come back in the next video.